Hello and welcome to another episode of Dream Home Cooking. Today I have a delicious and interesting menu for you guys. For the main course, I'm going to make something called keto cracked chicken. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. And then I have some buttered Parmesan linguine and some roasted garlic Parmesan asparagus, and then some blonde brownies. And I'm gonna start with the brownies first because I like to get them in the oven, let them bake, and then let them rest for a while before I cut into them. So what you wanna start with is 2 sticks of real butter. And I am going to use my mixer. If you have a stand-up mixer, it might be better to use that. I'm gonna have to use some elbow grease with this one, but I didn't feel like getting that big old thing out, so this is the trusty one I'm using. So we're going to add a half a cup of brown sugar and a half cup of white sugar to this butter once I get it mixed up a little bit. Back in home ec, they called this just creaming the butter and sugar together. Okay, and that's a half a cup of each, brown sugar and white sugar, to the 2 sticks of butter. You know, anything that has 2 sticks of butter in it is gonna be good. All right, so you just wanna make sure that those sugars are broken down and incorporated with all the butter. And then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla to that. Okay, and before I go any further, I want to go ahead. I've got 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour and a teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna go ahead and put the salt in there and just whisk it with a fork right quick. And I'm gonna add this in last. Okay, so then now I'm going to add 1 egg at a time, or try to. There we go. These are really good, and they're kind of those ooey gooey brownies. With brownies, you have to be careful. You don't want to overcook them, unless you're like my husband and you like a brownie really dry and crunchy. I don't. I like them kind of ooey and gooey. All right, so I'm going to add that second egg. And you want to make sure that those eggs are mixed real well in there before we add the flour. And then I'll just gradually add the flour in there. I don't want to dump it all in there at once because I'm afraid it'll overwhelm the mixer and it'll be really hard to mix up. This is something different than just the old chocolate brownie, which I love, but I love these too. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna add that last little bit of flour. Okay, so I've got all that flour mixed in there, and now I'm going to put this aside. And then I'm just gonna fold in the chocolate chips. And of course, because these are blondie brownies, I'm gonna use some white chocolate chips. And this is 1 1/4 cup. And then I think it's good to just take a spatula and just kind of incorporate it like that. Just fold them in there. And it is that simple. Okay, so those chocolate chips are good and mixed in there, and now I'm just going to put it on this parchment paper. You want to take a 8x8 or a 9-inch dish, put a piece of parchment paper on it. I like to spray it with cooking spray just for extra insurance. Then we're going to turn it out on here. I have to tell you guys where this keto cracked chicken comes from. I really don't like that name. I don't like crack in any kind of recipe title, but I just kept it because I actually found this recipe online. I had a little 3-day stint of trying to do the keto diet. Now, I'm not knocking it. Those of you who have done it out there, and I know a lot of people who have lost a lot of weight, my hat goes off to you. I admire you. I don't have the willpower. This mama needs some carbs. So after 3 days, I came home. I told Mike, I said, okay, I made a decision. I'm not doing the keto, and I celebrated with a strawberry milkshake from Jack's, and that was that. But in my quest of trying to do the keto, I found some really good recipes, and I kind of have tweaked them to make them my own. But this one is the keto cracked chicken, and y'all, it is delicious. And so if you're on keto, which you probably never heard me say that word in the history of Dream Home Cooking, but if you're on keto, try this recipe because you will love it. So I've got all that batter in there, and I'm just going to spend a minute pressing this down to where it's even. And then this goes in a 350 oven for 20 to 25 minutes. I would check it at 20 minutes because even if it's still just a tad jiggly in the middle, that's what you want, because you're gonna pull it out of the oven, let them rest about an hour before you cut them, and then they'll be nice and soft and ooey gooey. So I'm gonna finish getting this ready to put in the oven, and when we come back, I'm gonna show you how I make this chicken recipe.
You know, years ago, we researched different cabinet companies. Wellborn was the cabinet company that we decided to go with. Wellborn has a lot of your custom style building like we did in the local cabinet shops years ago. You just can't go wrong with a product like that with Wellborn. On top of that, Wellborn has researchers that are out in the market every day. Their job is to see what's current in the market, what's selling, and what their dealers need to be showing in their showroom. So come out, let me help you design your kitchen with Wellborn products.
Hey guys, I wanted to let y'all know about a year ago, me and Bruce Stone started a new company called Stonewood Homes. And Stonewood is a little different business plan than Woodland Homes because Stonewood is a scattered lot home builder, which means if you have a lot and you're looking for a builder, Stonewood is the answer. So if you own a home site or you're looking at building a custom home, give us a call at 830-9000 and let's start building.
My father started this business in 1977. The people that work for us is part of what sets us apart. All of our employees have experience. All of our plumbers have been with us for 10 years or greater. Our motto at Dean & Son is quality and service. We're going to do quality work. We don't leave people hanging. We're there when we're supposed to be. We're done when we're supposed to be. Living up to what you sell and service them after they pay you, that's where your integrity in the plumbing business comes.
Dean & Son Plumbing Company. Call today at 518-9780.
Since 1983, individuals and businesses in Alabama have relied on Wolf, Jones, Wolf, Hancock, Daniel, and South for their legal representation. Our experienced attorneys offer high-quality legal counsel in commercial law, real estate, and personal injury litigation. So if you need an attorney, hire the best attorney you can. Call the experienced North Alabama attorneys at Wolf, Jones, Wolf, Hancock, Daniel, and South to arrange your initial consultation, because we're dedicated to setting the standard for legal services.
Okay, we're back, and I've got all the stuff out to make this chicken dish I was telling y'all about. It is so good, and you know, anything that has bacon and bacon grease in it, it's pretty much a win. So this is a couple of different steps, so y'all bear with me. The first thing I'm going to do is cook this bacon. It's 4 to 5 pieces of bacon, and I put about a teaspoon of olive oil in here, and this is a nonstick skillet. So I'm just gonna let this cook low and slow until it's really crispy, and then I'm gonna take it out and drain it. But in the meantime, before I do that, I wanna show y'all how I season up the chicken. Okay, so this is 4 chicken breasts, and they were pretty large, so I trimmed all the fat off of them, and you want to make sure they're pretty even in size, because that's important when you're cooking, to make sure they all cook evenly at the same time. So I'm going to add some salt to each side of the chicken, and because they were so thick, I did take a meat mallet and pounded them just a little bit, and that does help to tenderize as well. Okay, and then I'm going to do garlic powder and onion powder, my normal round of seasonings with this. Okay, so then we are going to flip the chicken breast and season the other side. I had to get some other pepper. This thing is almost out. And you can always double this recipe if you've got a crowd, because this definitely will be a crowd pleaser. Okay, so now I'm going to do the seasonings. Salt, a little pepper. I love the coarse ground black pepper that you can buy. I go through mounds of that stuff. All right, and then garlic powder and onion powder. And when I'm making any kind of dish with beef or chicken, especially steaks, but even chicken, I like to pull it out of the fridge and let it rest for about 30 minutes so it's not just stone cold, you know, adding it cold to the hot pan. All right, so this bacon is taken just a little bit, Once this bacon is crispy, I'm gonna take a slotted spoon and put it on a paper towel lined saucer and then save the grease, and then I'll show y'all the next step from there. Okay, so this bacon took about 7 or 8 minutes to cook, and you want it nice and crispy. And then I'm using a slotted little kind of spoon, spatula, whatever you call this thing, and I'm just putting it on a paper towel so it can drain and it'll really crisp it up. You want to make sure you get all the little bacon pieces out because we're getting ready to saute the chicken in this grease, and you don't want those little bits left behind to burn. All right, so now we have our chicken seasoned. Oh, before I do that, I want to show y'all how I make up this spread that you put on top of the chicken. It is a couple of steps, but it's easy. So this is 4 ounces of cream cheese that I let come to room temperature. Then I have a half a teaspoon each of dill, onion powder, and then an 1/8 teaspoon of celery seed. That goes a long way, so just an 1/8 teaspoon. So I'm gonna dump those in here. This is basically kind of like how you make a homemade ranch. Okay, and then I just wanna take a fork, and it's real easy to stir up and incorporate into the cream cheese because it's at room temperature. And if you forget to get your cream cheese out, you can always just be real careful, but put it on a little microwave plate, unwrapped, of course, out of the packaging, and then just microwave it about 10 to 15 seconds, and that will soften it up too. So let me just make sure all that is mixed well. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this heat on because this chicken, I want to do it over medium heat, and I'm not fully cooking the chicken. It's gonna finish in the oven, which I love recipes like that because it's something you can do ahead of time. If you have guests, you're able to clean up all your mess. Okay, so that is mixed well. Now, once this gets to temp, I'm just gonna sear these chicken breasts about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and then I'm gonna transfer them to this baking dish. All right, so that is ready to go. Here's my tongs. All right, and so then I'm just gonna take the chicken breast, and this pan, I could stand to have a little bit bigger skillet, but that's okay. All right, so we're just gonna let those go for about 3 minutes till they're browned, and then we'll flip them and brown the other side. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip. And you see it's just a little golden brown color. And remember, it will finish cooking in the oven. Okay, so I'm gonna let that go another 3 minutes. Okay, so now the chicken has cooked 3 minutes on each side. Now I am going to just transfer it to this baking dish. And I did spray it with some cooking spray. I got timers going off everywhere. The brownies just came out. They smell delicious, they look good. And always remember, when you're working with hot grease, be super, super careful because that stuff will give you a bad burn. All right, so I've got my chicken breast in the oven, in the baking dish. Now I have a tablespoon of butter. I'm just gonna pop in there. And I'm just gonna kind of swirl it around until it's melted. And actually, I don't even have the heat on right now. That bacon grease gets so hot. I don't want to burn anything, so I'm just going to use these tongs and just kind of swirl it, get all those nice bits off the bottom. You know, as if the cream cheese topping wasn't enough, we've got this delicious bacon grease butter mixture that you pour over the top. Don't tell your heart doctor about this recipe. This is something that I don't cook like this every night. Mike and I do this as a treat. Okay, so now you want to take this goodness in the saucepan, and we're just gonna evenly pour it over each chicken breast. And this just is gonna make it really tender and juicy, which is how chicken should be. It should not be dry. All right, so that's all done. Now the last step is to take this cream cheese mixture. These chicken breasts are really big. I probably could have stood to double this cream cheese. The last time I did it, the chicken breasts were about half this size, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. I'm just gonna put the dollops on here and then I'll spread it. And you can see where this is going. It's just gonna be oozy, cheesy, yummy, bacony, delicious. All right, so now I'm just gonna take this little spreader and you just wanna evenly spread this cream cheese mixture over each chicken breast. All right, so just spread all that. I ended up getting a knife in addition to this, just was easier to get that spread around. All right, and then the last steps is we're gonna take this yummy bacon and I'm just gonna sprinkle it evenly over each chicken breast. After you do that, the very last step, we're gonna top it with some shredded mozzarella cheese. And it ends up being about a cup, but you can eyeball it. It doesn't have to be a precise measurement of the cheese. And then you just pop this in a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes or until a thermometer reads 160. All right, and that's it. And it's beautiful and it's gonna be delicious when it comes out of the oven. So I'm gonna get this in the oven and when we come back, I'm gonna make the asparagus and the linguine.
Hey guys, come on in.
Hey, Troy.
Yeah, let me show you around.
Wow.
You know, as the Acme Brick spokesperson, I get paid in brick. All the brick I want. Solid. What? Too much? To get Acme Brick quality, look for the Acme name. And here's the guest room. Hope you like a firm mattress.
Choosing an appliance can be complicated these days. That's why at Bob Wallace Appliance, we start by asking questions like an occasional cook or a serious chef, something just for you, or an army, once a week or once a day. You see, it's not just what we know about appliances, it's what we know about you. Bob Wallace Appliance, locally owned and operated for more than 35 years. Online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
In choosing a contractor in today's market, you know, finding someone that is going to take care of you and make sure that you're happy with their product, with the quality, it's not an easy task today. The most important thing to me is doing what you say you're going to do, taking care of the customer, installing a product that is superior. My motto is call the lady with a team you can trust, and I feel confident that we are a team that you can trust.
When you select Wolde Flooring's hardwood, you don't just enhance your home, you transform it. With hundreds of beautiful, durable, hand-selected varieties that come with up to a 50-year warranty, you can count on unsurpassed beauty and proven durability that's guaranteed to stand the test of time. When you want the best flooring for your home, come to Wolde Flooring in Madison. WoldeFlooring.com, 256-325-8453.
Okay, we're back, and oh, the brownies smell great. They're out. I've got the chicken about ready to put in the oven. So now I've got a pasta pot full of water. I'm gonna cook some linguine, and I'll show you guys in a minute how I finish this off. It's so easy. You just boil the pasta, put some butter, Parmesan cheese, a little garlic, and salt and pepper in it, and it's delicious with this keto chicken. I just took the keto right out of it when I put the pasta with it. All right, so then the last dish I'm gonna serve with this is some Parmesan garlic roasted asparagus, which I love. I think they're delicious and super simple. You take a ½ pound of asparagus, wash them, and trim the ends off. Then I'm just gonna take some olive oil, and I'm just gonna drizzle it evenly right over all of them, and you wanna do a generous amount so that this garlic and cheese will stick to it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the salt too. Do the salt, and then a little pepper, and then I have 3 cloves of fresh garlic here. This really makes your kitchen smell delicious when it's baking in the oven. So I just took that fresh garlic and minced it, and then I'm just gonna put it over here. And then after this comes out of the oven, before I serve it, I'll toss it up real good so this garlic gets on everything, every little stalk. Okay, and then you're gonna take some grated Parmesan cheese, not a lot, but maybe a total of 2 or 3 tablespoons, and just sprinkle it right over the top. And then these go in the oven on 400 for only about 10 minutes. And you can cook them a little longer, but we like our asparagus kind of with a crunch still. All right, so these asparagus are going to be ready to go in the oven, but before I do that, I want to put this pasta in the pot. I've got the water boiling. I'm only going to do half of this because there's only 3 of us today. So I'm just going to cook 8 ounces of the linguine. And you just put it down in this pot, and then I put it on medium heat and just let it cook for about 8 minutes. I want to set the timer so I don't forget. And you want it to kind of be al dente. And then once it is cooked, I'll show you guys how I finish it off. I did want to tell you guys about our community of the week this week. It's the Bluffs on Green Mountain, which if you have not been on Green Mountain, I highly encourage you to go, whether you're looking for a home or not. It is just a really special place in Madison County. But the Bluffs is an extension of Inspiration on Green Mountain, but they are very large, wide lots. And a couple of basement lots, just spectacular views of down Hampton Cove area. There's the nature trail, there's the land trust trail on Green Mountain, just a great place to go and take your family, have a picnic on a Saturday or Sunday, do some hiking. But I encourage y'all to drive up to Green Mountain and take a look around. It's just a beautiful spot, and the Bluffs just have some spectacular sights, some lots. And Mike will tell you much more about that when he's here. Alrighty, so the pasta is cooked now. I drained it off camera, and now I'm just going to throw in a tablespoon of butter. This is easy. You can just really eyeball this, but I'll have the measurements on my page and on the website. But you want to add a little teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of salt, and then some pepper. And then I like to just eyeball the olive oil, probably about a tablespoon, just enough so it doesn't stick together. And then I always like to take a little bit of pasta water out before I drain it. I just ladled about a half a cup out or a cup, and I'm just going to gradually pour it in there. This is just so it doesn't get that dry, sticky. My husband does not like pasta that is all stuck together. All right, you could even throw some lemon juice in this if you wanted to. And then I'm just going to add about a half a cup of grated Parmesan to it. And it's as simple as that. You can throw some fresh basil on top of there, and it just goes very nicely with this chicken dish. All right, so I'm just going to let this hang out, and the asparagus are in the oven. The chicken is finishing cooking up, and Mike will be here in just a little bit. He'll tell y'all more about the Bluffs, and we'll taste all this delicious food. Okay, we're back, and I've got Mike with me.
And I'm hungry.
We're always hungry. So I told my little story about my 3-day keto fix and how it was a failure on my part. But this chicken, remember I made it last week? It was so good. I said, I've got to make this on the cooking show. So I don't really like the name of it. It's called Keto Cracked Chicken, but I did put some changes to make it my own spin on it, but I kept the name. Then I just made some buttered linguine with some Parmesan cheese and olive oil.
Awesome. So what are these?
These are my blonde brownies, and they're really good. And then these are garlic Parmesan asparagus. I know those aren't your favorite. I make them eat them about twice a month because it's a superfood.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Well, good. It looks great.
But yeah, so with the pairing, it'll all go well together. But I was telling everybody about the community of the week, the Bluffs on Green Mountain, and how beautiful those lots are. How many lots are there?
I think there's probably about 32 to 34.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
so it's
more
just,
than I realized.
yeah, it's just, well, what we did is it was the last point, kind of ridge on the mountain. And we kind of carved that off and kind of created its own separate entrance.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to really kind of, we're looking at Huntsville, and it's like, where can somebody come in and build $1 million, $1.5 million,
right,
plus house, and there's just really, no community. And so with the bluff views that we've got, it's just gorgeous. So
They are spectacular.
I've had people say you're crazy about that price point, but there's a big market for that buyer at that price point, and so this particular phase, we've got 3 different custom builders that are building there.
Right.
So if a customer, we do have plans that are available for this particular area, but if a customer, is working with an architect, they've got their own set of plans, or whatever, then we've got a variety of different, very, very good high-end custom builders.
Right.
That are building in this community. Stonewood's one of them, and Kendallwood Homes is another one, and then we've got a third one that's lined up. But anyway, it's a great community, and it's the views. You're not going to be able to beat the views.
I agree. And I've always been a beach girl as long as you've known me, and I love to just sit and look out at the Gulf, but these bluff views rival the Gulf. It's that same feeling of just that it makes you feel calm and relaxed, to sit out and then peaceful.
Yep.
So I encourage anybody, if you're interested in a large lot that has a gorgeous view, come up to Green Mountain and check out the Bluffs.
And not only that, you get all the amenities that are up here as well.
That's right. I did not mention that.
Yeah. So you get the pool, the clubhouse, they got tennis courts. It's just great amenities. And also miles and miles and miles, 50, 60 miles of nature trails and walking trails with the land trust and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it's a
special place.
It certainly is.
So come out and check it out. And as always, I just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. We have so many sponsors. Sadler and I were talking about that a while ago, that have been, well, of course there are vendors, but they've been with us for so many years. They do great work. So thank y'all for that. And for these recipes, you can find them at woodlandhomes.com, as well as our Dream Home Cooking Facebook page.
Yep, and also the Bluffs. You can log on and check out the Bluffs at woodlandhomes.com. Or the best thing to do is just come out and see us.
Yep, let's eat.
Yep, let's do it.